Hi, how's everybody? How are you guys dealing with quarantine? I know it's hard. I hope I can grab your attention for some minutes and maybe you can learn something or help yourself with this video. My name is Maria de Almeida. I am psychoanalyst, so if you have any questions about the video or you are interested in therapy, can be very useful now more than ever. You have all my contact details online. Today we are going to continue talking about depression. I'm going to do a quick recap. In my previous video we have seen how that depression happens when first there is a loss of a love object. Normally this loss is unconscious. The person doesn't really know what they have lost. Secondly, the person loves himself in the love object. The love object has been chosen narcissistically. Third, there is a decrease in self-love. There is self-reproach. We are going to continue today understanding and investigating what happens in depression. So, why are depressed people so tired? They have no energy and they tend to suffer from insomnia. Why does that happen? It happens because the psychic energy of those people, all their energy, is focused in the conflict between the ego and the love object. If the ego let the love object go or not. There is a rigidity in their psychic energy that sicken them. Remember that when we spoke very briefly about libido, I explained you that we all have a psychic energy called libido, and in order to be healthy, this libido needs to be moving all the time. How does this libido moves around? Every time I'm interested in something, my libido goes to that object and then comes back to me. For example, I'm watching a movie, my energy goes to the movie, and when the movie finishes, it gets back to me. This is a very simple way of explaining it. It's way more complex than that, but so that you understand. What happens in depressed people is that all their energy is focused on the conflict between the ego and the love object, if the ego lets the love object go or not. That's why those depressed people, even if they are watching a movie, they are not interested because all their interest is in that conflict. Mental health, you are going to be a bit surprised, but is very linked with the ability to be able to replace. So that you understand what I'm talking about, in order to grow up, I need to be able to substitute the breast of my mom by the bottle. And then I need to be able to substitute the bottle by the spoon, and so on. You follow me. Ability to replace is a key indicator of mental health. What happens is that people who are depressed don't have the ability to replace, and for them that object is contingent. That should be contingent, in reality is necessary. I love this guy. It cannot be anybody else. Let's say that my boyfriend left me, and instead of me letting him go and began to be interested in other guys, no, I don't like any other guys. There was only this guy on the earth. But if you realize this happened quite a lot, for example, people who get widowed very, very young and they never married again. It's because they are being loyal to their husband, or because to them, really, they are not interested in other men. So it's very complex. Also, our culture make it even more difficult because Western culture tend to make to put a lot of emphasis in the object. The object becomes necessary instead of contingent. In reality, it should be that the important thing is to love. What matters is the drive, not what I love. What matters is loving. So, the depressed people have this difficulty to replace, and our Western culture makes it even more difficult. Because imagine, for people who are depressed, when they lose their love object, they cannot replace it, and on top of that, the culture is putting some emphasis on that object, and even worse, these people have chosen that object with a narcissist choice of object, meaning one, that when they lose that love object that they cannot replace, it's like they were losing part of themselves. This is why depression is so painful. All that I have been explaining to you until now is a case of pure depression, which I think is complicated enough, but I'm sure you have also heard about this, what they call now bipolar disorder, which in fact is a manic depression disorder, is a type of depression. So manic depression is the type of depression in which the patient is going to experience episodes of depression along with episodes of mania. What is mania? When Freud began to investigate, he thought that maybe mania could be happening when, in that conflict between the ego and the love object, the ego wins temporarily to the love object. This is exactly what happens in mourning. So when we finish the mourning, the person feels happy, feels relief. This happiness is coming because unconsciously they have let go the love object and they have remained alive. So if someone died, I let the dead person go and I stay alive. That is why they are feeling happy, because they are alive. To understand depression, we have been comparing it to mourning. Now, to understand mania, we are going to compare it to happiness. Why does happiness happen? We experience happiness when energy that before was put on something is freed. Again, I'm going to give you a very easy example. A poor man who had to work super hard to make it to the end of the month, all of a sudden he wins the lottery. So all the energy that this man was putting in the hard work every day is now free so that he can be happy. Happiness is coming also when we are relieved from a long-term coercion. Then our energy, the energy that was put in that coercion, is free and we feel happy and we have energy to do a lot of things. This is a bit what happens in mania. In mania, when the ego temporarily wins over the love object, we relieve some energy, and this is why the maniac person, they have like so much energy, they experience this elation, which by the way is a lot of activity but is very unproductive. And what happens in mania is that exactly the same. They experience this loss that they don't know what they have lost, is unconscious. They experience this elation, which in reality is like a victory sensation, but they don't know where that victory is coming from. I know this is very complex, but all that I can tell you, I think on the positive side of things, this is very complex, but I think that you are seeing that there is some explanations behind what is happening. So bipolar disorder should not be a chronic disease. It's something that you can treat with analysis. And there are other cases we have seen for now, like pure depression. There is also this maniac depression type of depression, but there is also the depression which happens with anxiety. There are people who have like chronic pains, chronic headaches, chronic thoracic pains. They are very tired and they go to the doctor and the doctor cannot find anything. But it happens that maybe it's a case of depression with anxiety, so the anxiety is creating all the symptoms and is disguising the depression. So we don't know that the person is depressed because what he has is physical symptoms that have become chronic. But it happens that if we treat the depression with psychoanalysis in this person, we will see that the physical symptoms disappeared. So again, I know this is very complex. I hope this has helped you learn something, and I will talk more about why we should try to avoid depression in my next video. Thank you. Bye.